Peace, y'all. You know they run everything in reverse. So inversion is the oldest trick in the book. You take a natural truth, then you flip it backwards. You teach the opposite, and then you repeat it until the people defend the lie. Once you see it, then you can't unsee it. Because everything they teach us, it runs in reverse. Now let's look at some examples, right? Let's look at the food inversion, right? The truth is humans are biologically wired for fruits, hydration, minerals, electric foods. We're taught that heavy grains, proteins, dead food, and chemical calories are what we need to survive. But did you know that early natural hygiene doctors and our ancestors and just biology itself, it tells us that fruit was the highest healing food, and the system flipped it into too much sugar. You're having too much sugar. Another one that's probably the biggest one is energy inversion, right? So the truth is energy is free. It's everywhere, right? It's air, it's ether, it's ground, it's sun, it's water. What are we taught? We're taught we have to pay the electricity bill. We have to pay the power bill. We have to burn fossil fuels and pretend that the atmosphere is just not an electromagnetic ocean just flowing around us. So Tesla actually showed wireless energy was possible. They inverted it into it's dangerous, it's impractical, or it's just a myth. Let's look at some other ones. Look at the health inversion, right? Now, everybody knows that the body heals automatically whenever you remove any obstructions. Any obstructions are removed, your body will begin to heal itself. Now, what are we taught? We are taught that disease is random. It's inherited, right? Genetic, or it's caused by invisible germs that were never proven. Now, did you know that terrain theory dominated early science? It was all that they knew. It was all that made sense. Then all the complications came. Then it was flipped in favor of germ-based profit models. Anything that made money for y'all know who. Then we have the sunlight inversion. Now, we all know that sunlight is foundational for human beings, for the hormones, for melanin, for rhythm. Now, we're taught that the sun will kill you. You need to hide from it. You need to block it. You need to fear it. Too much of it will burn us, right? That's what we're taught. In school, we've been taught that our whole lives. Did you know that ancient cultures, they used the sun for everything? They worship the sun even. They used it for therapy. They used it for healing. And then modern medicine, they inverted it into a dangerous radiation. But they're still trying to duplicate it to this day. Why would you try to duplicate a dangerous radiation? I don't know. The earth inversion itself, electromagnetism, right? Everybody knows that the earth behaves like a living electric body. It's got circulating currents. It's got magnetic charge, it's got pressure, flow, right? And we're taught that it's just a dead rock. It's just a dead spinning rock out in the vacuum going 90 million miles per hour, right? Well, in truth, the ionosphere, lightning, the Schumann resonance, and all the currents, they all support an electrical earth, not a lifeless sphere. Okay. What about the history inversion? Now, the truth is that people were more advanced in certain areas like architecture, astronomy, energy, right? Now, what's taught today is everything is primitive, right? That is new age, and everything that's modern is superior to whatever they knew in the past, right? Everybody believes they're so much smarter than the ancestors, and all they did was just build right over it, right? Many ancient structures, they still outperform modern engineering. That alone exposes the inversion. You still can't duplicate things that our ancestors made thousands of years ago. Who knows? It could be longer. We only know what they tell us. There's, of course, the medicine inversion, right? We know that herbs, fasting, sunlight, fruits, minerals, they all rebuild the body. But we are taught that pills, shots, surgeries, and lifelong patienthood is the way to go. It's just normal. It's just normal to see, young kids having heart attacks and, people dying earlier. It's normal. So pharmaceuticals were built on synthetic copies of every herb. Then herbs were labeled as alternative. It basically just overwrote God's code. There's a water inversion. The earth, we all know that the earth generates fresh water from within the earth. It's called primary water. If you haven't heard of it, look it up. It's independent of the rain cycles. It has nothing to do with that. It comes from inside the earth. What we're taught is water is scarce. It's dried up, it's drying up, It's dependent on, when we're dependent on rainfall. We need water and rainfall to survive. But when you find out about primary water, wells, they refill from inside the earth, proving that water is abundant and it's not scarce. This is an important one, the education inversion. Okay. Now, what we know is real education is curiosity. It's exploration. It's critical thinking, real science. Today, we're taught to memorize, to obey, to regurgitate, never question the authority, right? School systems, they were designed by industrialists, not teachers. Think about that. They were designed by people who made money, who wanted to teach kids how to make more money. for them, not for us, to produce workers and not thinkers. And that's the reality that most people live in today. So listen, when you line these inversions up side by side, the food, the energy, the health, the history, the medicine, the water, the nature, then you'll start to see that the pattern is undeniable. Every foundational truth that keeps human beings sovereign, it gets flipped into the opposite. That's inversion. And once you recognize the inversion, the whole system becomes transparent and the real world finally will start to make sense. Peace.